Let's go for case study number 7. Now we are going to discuss something related to cost management techniques. Bread and butter company started its business a couple of years ago when customers preferred bread to other food items in their breakfast. Today, the market has seemingly turned narrow for bread or sandwiches. The high nutrient rich breakfasts like cornmeal, rice crepes, oatmeal are taking over market share as opposed to bread butter or simple sandwich, which appears to be aged old talks. BBC was about serving the kind of bread their customers wanted. The bread were custom made, ready in no time on order, and delicious, exactly how they need to be. The prices charged for the products offered were high, since it was the only store in the kind of area in its kind, only store of its kind in the area covering 50 kilometers of East Georgia. Georgians were fond of unique service offered, and the taste filled their morning experiences with happiness. Monopoly. They have their own pricing strategy. Customer satisfaction. These are the 3 points which we have realized. The business prospered and profits increased phenomenally on a year-to-year basis. The prosperity called for additional space and resources requirement. BBC contemplated that since they would have to hire more staff to meet its increasing demand, the space they were trying to lease was more than they could use. They planned for add-ons to their current production line, bread and sandwiches. They started selling frozen food items, desserts, beverages, meals for train passengers. The bread and butter company was now known as Just Taste It. They started to hire new people with flawless cooking skills. There seemed to be more supply than the demand, and it appeared that commoners had great cooking talent were interested to learn more to take it to altogether a newer level. The staffs were welcomed to share their unique recipes, and team gathered to prepare item based on one selected and approved. The employees started preparing meals on a prior anticipation of demand, including excess meals for any stockouts. In a month or so, the warehouse seemed to be a chaos full of raw material purchased from various suppliers based on suggestion of staffs and pre-packed meals. The kitchen was out of space to accommodate the current staff comfortably. The myriad ideas took JTI in a mirage, creating problem in coordination among staff, since many of their ideas had to be dropped and others were welcomed, created a negative cost benefit equation. So employees में झगड़ा, सबके सुनने की वजह से excess stock leads to excess carrying cost. आपको स्टोरेज पे खर्चा करना पड़ेगा, प्लस उस excess stock के चक्कर में आपने जो खर्चा किया है, that entire money gets blocked. So there is an opportunity cost because you are not using it. It is there in the stock. If I wouldn't have purchased it, I would have invested that money somewhere else and I would have earned some interest out of it. So there is a carrying cost in the form of wastage. There is a carrying cost in the form of stock. Plus, there is no coordination among workers. Plus, it has acted as a demotivation for my staff, for my workers. The bread and sandwich business was hit by negative publicity of the train meals businesses since JTI had to compromise on quality to earn enough profit to keep meal business up and running. एक business का असर दूसरे business पे हो रहा है. Gradually, the loyal clients turned down on them and started to switch to their other caterers. जो regular customer थे वो भी चले गए. The management of JTI was wondering if at all the business should be continued since there were not enough orders and pre-prepared meals are getting wasted, thereby burdening the firm with a huge cost. The frozen items, desserts and beverages business were only support they had. The only support they had. Clients continued to buy those items considering frozen items, dessert were brought so served to them on a margin. JIT ended up losing customers' trust and had no option but to stop preparing anything for them. They thought of bringing a changeover and presenting themselves as retailers rather than preparers of meals, breads and sandwiches. मतलब जो इन हाउस प्रोडक्शन था वो बंद हो गया, ब्रेड बंद हो गया, सैंडविच बंद हो गया, मील बंद हो गया. आप बेवरेजेस बेच रहे हो या पैक्ड फूड बेच रहे हो, मतलब किसी और का फूड आप लेके आ रहे हो और वो बेच रहे हो. दैट मीन्स यू हैव टर्न्ड आउट टू बी अ रिटेलर फ्रॉम अ मैन्युफैक्चरर. आपने अपने कस्टमर खो दिए. यू हैव लॉस्ट योर कस्टमर्स. One of the management people, Mr. Juniorson, contacted you and approached you for some valuable advice in this regards. He also came up with their income and expenses so that you could provide some insights on how to overcome the loss-making situation and rebound back to a prosperous profit-earning history. Consider yourself as a management accountant who was referred by Mr. Juniorson. He has following question in his mind that clogged all doors of ideas to revive. What are we doing? Is there any way JTI would continue its current business? And third one, we need to save on cost and regain the lost trust of customers. How do we do this? You see, there was no dearth of loyal foodies when we used to sell such breads and sandwich. मतलब कस्टमर की कमी नहीं थी यार. फूडी लोगों की कमी नहीं थी, मतलब आपका कस्टमर पे सेट था. Even though we charge high prices back, then we never had to confront such predicaments we currently are in. रीजंस मांगे. सबसे पहले हम कर क्या रहे, दूसरा क्या बिजनेस बचा सकते हैं, और तीसरा मुझे कॉस्ट भी बचानी है और मुझे कस्टमर भी वापस चाहिए. एनेक्जर पढ़ लेना. रेवेन्यू, ब्रेड सैंडविच से रेवेन्यू बढ़ रहा है, फ्रोजन फूड का रेवेन्यू कम हो रहा है, बेवरेजेस सी ये देखो, सॉरी सैंडविच कम हो रहा है, फ्रोजन फूड का बढ़ रहा है. मतलब मैं मैन्युफैक्चरर था, अब मैं मैन्युफैक्चरर से रिटेलर होने जा रहा हूँ क्योंकि किसी और का फूड मैं बेच रहा हूँ. बेवरेजेस में भी सेम सिचुएशन. मील्स, मैं मैन्युफैक्चरर नहीं रहा, मेरा सेल कम हो रहा है. इफ यू लुक एट द कॉस्ट स्ट्रक्चर, द कॉस्ट का उल्टा ही गिनती चल रहा है. कॉस्ट इज इंक्रीजिंग. रेडीमेड फ्रोजन ठीक है, डेजर्ट परचेज, बेवरेजेस परचेज, लेबर पे खर्चा बढ़ते जा रहा है. रेंट, इंश्योरेंस, रिवॉर्ड्स टू स्टाफ, किस बारे में रिवॉर्ड दे रहे हो? ट्रांसपोर्टेशन कॉस्ट ऑफ मील डिलीवरी हैज रिड्यूस क्योंकि मील का सेल ही कम हो गया तो डिलीवरी करने की नौबत ही नहीं आएगी. Since beverages market was competitive, commanding high profit was never an expectation. Frozen items were sold at a markup of 10% on purchase cost. Georgian preferred frozen food and fresh food equally. Desserts are all-time favorite irrespective of seasonal variations. Of the desserts and frozen revenue, 60% sale was dedicated to desserts. 50% labor was identified towards meal preparation and 40% towards sandwich. Breads and rest 10% of rest 10% for serving desserts. Okay, 50% labor was identified for meal preparation, 40% was towards sandwich and breads, and 10% was serving desserts. Beverages did not take labor hours since they could be refilled in self-serving dispensers through which clients were served. Once they served themselves with their choice of beverage, they stood in line to complete the billing of the service. Of the cost of foods as raw material, only 40% was dedicated to earning bread and sandwich revenue. Rewards to staff were paid on the basis of their recipes being approved. So, we can see the gross profit going down miserably in case of breads and sandwiches. We can see profit of desserts increasing marginally, profit of frozen food increasing marginally, beverages profit from losses, you are into profits now. Meal is again a disaster for us. Now what has happened? Yes, so where are we? First thing first, there is a lot of chaos. We went for the diversification, we went for expansion. we went for expansion. अगर आप expansion करना चाहते हो, diversification करना चाहते हो, तो आपके पास कोई solid concrete plan होना चाहिए. You were lacking that plan. You were lacking those strategies. कोई strategy नहीं थी. गाँव दुनिया को तुम लोग ने बुला लिया and you started asking them for recipes. Recipes मिलने के बाद commission देते गए, काम शुरू किया. You never evaluated how much cost will be involved in preparing those items, how much will be the demand in the market. No, nothing of that sort. लोगों को hire करते गए और warehouse भरते गए. So basically, we can find out one thing very clear. We can ascertain one thing very clear from here, that there was lack of planning and there were no proper strategies implemented. See, you should have gone for a limited number of food items with limited number of new entrants, new employees. हम लोग ने पूरा गांव बसा लिया अंदर. So the number of, see, that has put a burden on labor cost. Plus the kind of strategy you implemented for selecting food items. जिनका item select हुआ, they were happy. जिनका नहीं हुआ, they were not happy. So basically, it acts as a demotivating factor for me. बेसिकली वेस्टेज हुआ है, और वेस्टेज अगर अवॉइड करना है तो आपको लीन सिस्टम एंड इनोवेशन का फॉलो करना पड़ेगा. लीन सिस्टम एंड इनोवेशन बेसिकली होता है, इट इज अ ऑर्गेनाइज्ड मेथड टू मिनिमाइज द वेस्ट that is generated in the business, of course without sacrificing the quality and without sacrificing the productivity of the manufacturing system. इसमें काफी अलग अलग टाइप के कंसेप्ट होते हैं. जैसे JIT सिस्टम हुआ, यू ऑर्डर मटेरियल ओनली व्हेन इट इज रिक्वायर्ड. उसकी तो जरूरत दिख रही है यहाँ पे. यू ऑर्डर मटेरियल व्हेन एवर इट इज रिक्वायर्ड, मतलब मेरा इन्वेंट्री कम हो जाए, मेरा स्टॉक कम हो जाए, उसकी तो खड़े खड़े जरूरत दिख रही है यहाँ. आई कैन अप्लाई सेवरल डिफरेंट टेक्निक्स हियर टू मिनिमाइज माई वेस्टेज. मुझे इस केस स्टडी में एक चीज नजर आई, लैक ऑफ प्लानिंग, लैक ऑफ प्रॉपर स्ट्रेटेजीज and lot of wastage in terms of employees, in terms of labor resources, in terms of material, and इसका सीधा impact आपके cost पे आया. उसका सीधा इम्पैक्ट प्रोडक्ट के क्वालिटी पे आया और उसका सीधा इम्पैक्ट कस्टमर पे आया. So customer satisfaction is also one of the factors which are required to be considered. तो क्या लिखना है यहाँ पे? Okay, lean में see you have to write a few things like the concept was okay. You have to write something about lean that you can get it from the notes. Basically, they meant not only the design of the product or the utility of the product, not only the design, but the utility should also be customer oriented. आप item बना रहे हो, product बना रहे हो, you should always do that by keeping customer in mind. एक चीज याद रखना, काफी सारे फूड आइटम्स आज ऐसे जनरेट हो चुके हैं जिसकी जो ओरिजिनली थे ही नहीं. इट इज अ फ्यूजन ऑफ डिफरेंट आइटम्स लाइक पाव भाजी. 4-5 सब्जियां एक साथ मिला दी, रोटी ना बेलने के लिए कोई है नहीं तो पाव डाल दिए. So that was an outcome of, I mean, that's how the pav bhaji was brought into existence. Look at the way it has transformed now. It has changed completely. The original taste of pav bhaji was different, and now what we get is as per customer's requirement, what customer prefer. Then you get cheese pav bhaji also, because some people prefer cheese in everything. You get dry fruit pav bhaji also in some places. I mean, see, if you have a customer, you spend on it. See, that is why there is a list of pav bhaji items. Normal pav bhaji, special pav bhaji, butter pav bhaji, dry fruit pav bhaji. So, if you are ordering dry fruit pav bhaji, they will make pav bhaji. They will put dry fruit. They will charge you extra for that. But for that, they will not prepare dry fruit pav bhaji. So, there is no inventory. They will prepare pav bhaji, the normal bhaji that they make. What do you want? Butter pav bhaji? They will add butter to it. Cheese pav bhaji? They will grate cheese on it. Dry fruit pav bhaji? They will put dry fruit in it. So there is a minimal wastage because it is made to order. It is just in time. Pizza, you can take it for example. Pasta, you can take it for example. Dosa, you get in the hotel. You can take even that for example. Sada dosa, onion sada, masala dosa, Mysore masala. Okay, there are so many variations, but dosa is the only common place. Rest everything is added only if there is a customer. So it is just in time. You need not prepare masala dosas and keep. I hope you are understanding this. So give customer what they want, what they prefer. Now, the next change is switch the basis of commission paid to staff. Currently, staff receive commission for the recipes approved irrespective of the cost incurred to JTI in implementing such recipes. Executing any recipes required assembling the raw material to prepare food items, which bears financial impact on the firm. Purchase of raw material from various suppliers based on staff recipes and their suggestions would have it has given a huge cost burden from the firm and negative cost benefit ratio. Purchase activity is a significant pooler of cost and therefore purchase department be considered as a cost center. Naturally, you should have a control over purchase. No? If you have so many suppliers, if you have too many suppliers, then things are difficult to handle. You should, if you have 30 suppliers supplying different types of material to you, how would you put a control? How would you check the quality? So that is one more thing. Your purchase cost center needs to be organized. Then you have disorganized warehouse where you are dumping all food items and there was a huge carrying cost involved. So they are simply suggesting these are different problems that we are facing. What is asked in the second thing? What was asked in the second question, second part of the question? Is it any way that we could continue with the business? Simple. Now, whatever criticism you have made right now, whichever factors you have criticized right now, suggest a solution for that. It is that simple. The current business situation appears to lack of lack planning and systematic approach. Now we will have to first improve this. We need to plan things, and your planning should be towards customer focus and satisfaction. Then at the same time, we are still only manufacturers of breads and sandwiches and train meals. The other three were just purchased and served as a margin. Never forget that. You still have. See, there is no competition. See, there is no competition. That means you still have some scope to improve and come back to the market. The sandwich business got hit due to quality compromise. Thus, to revive the business, we must not only control quality of the sandwiches but also reboost the trust of the customer in train meals. My one product is a failure, and because of that, in the anticipation, my second product is also the most successful product is also going down. My train meals concept failed because of quality. People started expecting the same quality from my sandwiches, which was actually of a good quality. So my poor performance in terms of my poor quality structure in terms of train meals has affected my best product in the market. The beverages business is good and requires little amendment, since beverages will have to be purchased and served for a margin. So it is not a cause of much concern. थोड़ा तो profit हो ही रहा है. Frozen foods and desserts. You please do the financial analysis and see what is good for you, make or buy. तो हम लोग करते थे ना डिसीजन मेकिंग. अगर मुझे बनाने का खर्चा कम आता है तो why should I buy? इन हाउस प्रोडक्शन करके बेच देता हूँ अंडर माई ओन ब्रांड नेम, rather than buying it from someone and be dependent on that and reducing my profit margin. If it is advisable to produce and sell, it is much better. You should always go for it. It will save your cost. You already have different resources available. By keeping those resources in mind, you can actually switch over to in-house production activity rather than buying these products from the market. For meal business, the production process needs a complete changeover right from the time the production of systematic purchase. So my first requirement is systematic purchase. Second one is good housekeeping system. Third one is I have to maintain customers' trust. So we have to systematize this part. The meal business is directly dependent on maintaining quality, which can be perceived by it turning into loss-making business of 1.8 crores, which would produce profits of 6.33 back in 17. So your profit was 6.33, which was dropped down to 3.6, and then it was a loss of 1.8. That can be avoided if you take care of systematic purchases, right quality of material without impairing the quality of raw material from a fixed 2-3 suppliers who keep on buying the material. Good maintenance in terms of housekeeping so that the wastage of all kinds will be eliminated. And the third one will be keeping customer as a point of as a center of decision making. You start manufacturing these train meals. You need to win back their trust. Now, regaining customer confidence is no rocket science for JIT, since it has successfully proved its success in the past when they were known as bread and butter company. See, the company was known for its quality. The company was known for its quality, and customer did not resist to pay a higher price. So this was an earlier scenario, guys. So you have to perform as per customer's expectation. How can we do this? So how do we manage this? सबसे पहले तो कस्टमर को अपने लेबर को रेसिपी के बेसिस पे कमीशन देना बंद करो. Give them recipe only on the basis of their ratings. Customer rating देगा, if your rating is good, you will be getting commission, otherwise get lost. Simple. अब रेसिपी बनाने वाले को अगर कमीशन देके बैठोगे, what if the end product is not that good and customer is not happy with it? Let the customer be happy. Customer happy, so money will flow. If money flows, my labor is worthy enough, or he deserves that commission part. Secondly, you manage the transportation cost somehow by going for in-house transport vehicle rather than outsourcing the transportation part. So you are supposed to manage commission first, and commission should be paid strictly on the basis of rating. Then you can think of redesigning meal preparation process where less shortage will be required and less packing will be required. This will save my, see, if there is a huge stock, the stock is also to be maintained, no? So I need to pack certain things. It may need a controlled temperature, it may need refrigeration. There are a lot of, so many problems. There is a carrying cost, friends, in simple terms. So we can avoid that part as well. So it was a general question based on lean system, whereby we were focusing on minimizing the waste. Now, there are few more case studies given based on the same topic. So we will be discussing even those case studies, and that is case study 8. Welcome Foodies was a small restaurant in and around the busy city of Newtown. The city was located in the banks of River Teresa and was known for its tourism value. The visitors often passed days visiting the prominent natural attractions, and the scenic beauty brought them back again. They also treasured the culture of town and adults of the local surroundings. It was simple, down to earth. It was untouched by man-made interventions like infrastructures and celestial buildings. The people down there had the culture of visiting bars and restaurants at the evening time to undo the monotony of the day. They liked sitting with friends, close relatives, chit-chatting their busy schedule, and what special they did throughout the day. Now things went fuzzy, which ought to have been straightforward. The not so civilized life went calm until the development of a highway that connected Newtown City to infrastructural sound city called Angel. In no time, the new town found itself crowded, overburdened to accommodate daily passengers from highway and near surroundings. This made the state government consider the development of infrastructure in new town and additional hotels to welcome the growing tourism business. This led to a drastic changeover in the restaurant business to welcome foodies. It started getting busier, was brimming with food lovers all over the day. Welcome Foodies, being a family-owned, self-funded business, took its ambience as a door of opportunities to recover the previous losses it had to book long back, as it outset. It was thinking to expand its business and open new restaurants in the town. But the funding was yet a trouble, since its credibility was questionable to lenders. Welcome Foodies could borrow just enough funds from its familiar to hire additional staff to serve the growing crowd. Albeit, the new staff were recruited. They lacked proper skill. This is my first problem. And knowledge of service industry. This is my second problem. My major problem is finance, followed by unskilled labor, having no knowledge, much knowledge about the industry. Most of the staff were local people who knew no fancies of alluring the customers with their smiles and warm heartedness. They had to work overtime for low pay since the company was in debt, paying the peaking expenses of production and processing of food items. Given the rising bills and heightening cost of raw material, it had to escalate prices of the items served in the menu card. Notwithstanding the rise, the chain was easy on the guest's pocket compared to other posh dine out places in the city. So the customers resisted subtly and then continued to walk in as before. So basically, you lead to competition. You generated competition for yourself by increasing the prices for the food items. The operating efficiency of the restaurant began to decline with the increasing numbers, also somewhat perceived that by the incoming customers. The owner heard his customers' conversation. Customer Mike, hey there, how are you doing? Well, I wonder why we have to wait so long when many tables are lying empty. Doesn't the restaurant feel like harassing their customers without any cause? My mood gets ruined for the wait and I plan to seek another place nearby. What about you? The other customer says, yes, you are right. I also feel like claustrophobic having to dine among the proliferating crowd. अब ये क्या बोल दिया इसने? क्लॉस्ट्रोफोबिक मतलब घुटन सी होती है, डर सा लगता है. प्रोलिफेरेटिंग क्राउड मतलब अचानक से फटाफट फटाफट लोग आ जाते हैं, टेबल भर जाएंगे. Hey, guess what? I heard the owner is short of finance and he would hardly do anything to get himself out of the hell, at least not in the near future. ठीक है, एक बंदा बोल रहा है टेबल खाली है, दूसरा बंदा बोल रहा है कि हाँ. तीसरा, the waiting time is ridiculously long. I mean, I had to wait for 20 minutes on a peak Friday, which I do not mind here, but here I believe they hardly care to manage this. The lines got bigger on Fridays and weekends since cleaning boy and his partner used old cleaning techniques and were reasonably slow. Several people went ahead and decided to leave rather than wait any further. Hospitality business demanded unwavering, flawless customer service, which started to shake because of dearth of the finances. Enough staff could not be placed at required locations, which turned things chaotic. Now let's talk about kitchen. Kitchen was not sound either. Outdated equipments and the manual cleaning dishes was a big trouble altogether. With the increasing demand, no adjustment was made for to make the number of kitchen equipments. The short number of kitchen staff tried their best to manage things in the order, but they could not help to deliver with required speed since they had to clean equipments manually before they use. Ingredients of the items were not well arranged, adding to stress and wait time for service. Sometimes some items like onion, garlic paste, boiling of vegetables, chilies, sauces, pickles ought to have been prepared before the restaurant is open for guests. No such arrangement was in place. Some raw material were short in supply, while some were more than the demand, which perished. So there is a obsolete cost. It became obsolete, outdated, heavy carrying cost, plus for some material you are out of stock. There were three chefs in the kitchen, each specialized in a given cuisine. However, they were not groomed to switch efforts in time of necessity, but they were asked to do this anyways, and the results were atrocious. They could not do each other's work basically. Sometimes the guest found their tomato soup containing odd ingredients like mushrooms, potatoes. Sometimes guests claimed that 100% vegetarian dish too was found to comprise of fish or chicken remnants. This situation called for significant quality issues on the processing of food in the most unexpected manner one could think of. Moreover, the lax kitchen staff had the customer request on their table, which they did not accept in the order received. Some orders were served early, while some customers kept sitting for a long time waiting for their food to show up on their plates. The billing machine was not modern. Cashier had to manually enter price and other specifications of each item ordered and served. Most of the times, the only supervisor was found snuggling in his chair. He did not care to advise waiters and other assistant staffs to improve. As a result, staff persistently made some mistakes and guests were forced to report to the complaints to the restaurant manager, who was also the owner, and no leadership role was identified among the staff. So basically, that ownership feeling was missing. They were employees and they were behaving like employees. Okay. Some staff took leave on weekends and returned on Tuesdays. They lacked motivation to stay during the peak weekends. When the staff was missing from his perspective role, the manager replaced the position since he wanted to save on currency. मैनेजर खुद जाके काम कर रहा है, स्टाफ नहीं आता है तो. The hygiene of the place was also questionable. The floors were watery, smelt nasty, and the table seemed to have been contained food, oil spilled over sauces. The guests carrying their kids were nervous about their small ones slipping over the floor. On a total, it raised concern about cooking, cleaning habits of the staff working there, and thereby escalating the health risk of the guest. The business saw its doom, and the customer began looking for dining options in the surrounding area. Consider yourself as a family advisor of Mr. Bean, the owner and the successor of his father's business. He is aware that you have a cost management degree and are working in one of the multinational firms accounting department. Luckily, he had a chance to hear about your achievements of successfully implementing strategies to assist the firm in rejuvenating its snuggling business. Rejuvenating its snuggling business means a business जहाँ पे खत्म हो रहा है, कंपनी बंद होने के फिरात में, it's a turnaround story. वापस आपने उसको प्रॉफिट पे लेके गए. He had tears in his eyes while narrating this entire story. फालतू का बकवास. काम की बात. Discuss which managerial technique could be used to turn things around. मैंने कहा था ना turnaround strategy apply करनी. How it could be done. देखो, मैं एक सिंपल बात बताता हूँ. Turnaround strategy apply करने के लिए we have Six Sigma tool, which is one of the most important and one of the most proficient and one of the most result giving tool. One of the most result giving tool of lean management system or lean system. Wastage minimize करने के लिए सबसे better है. Basically, it works towards enhancing the quality. It works towards improving the quality without affecting the quality of the product. Improving the quality and it eliminates your defects of the system which are killing your customer satisfaction. So Six Sigma works towards quality improvement to satisfy the customer. That's all we need at this point of time. So Six Sigma is basically split into two parts. I'll tell you. One is Damik and Damdao. Damik basically is defining the problem, measure the problem, analyze what are we supposed to do, what are the different processes which are required to be implemented to get this thing done, and then improve the process by addressing and eliminating root causes, and then control so that the problem doesn't come back again. So Damik is basically for improving existing business process. The mic is basically used to enhance the quality in the existing business process. Damdao, it is basically a method for bringing something high quality product into existence. So this is basically used for new processes. You define the project goal, what exactly you want to do. You measure, you analyze, you design, you verify. So the mic design, measure, analyze, improve. Why improve? Because you are already in existence. The I is missing. Why I is missing? Because this is a new product, so there is nothing to improve. We'll have to start with it. And finally, my last one is control. The mistake you rectify. System is on. आपकी मिस्टेक खत्म हो चुकी है, आपने रेक्टिफाई कर दी, नया सिस्टम डाल दिया, अब उसको कंट्रोल करो ताकि वो मिस्टेक दोबारा ना हो. तो ये रिकरिंग प्रोसेस है. दमिक इज फॉर कंटिन्यूइंग बिजनेस, दमदव इज फॉर न्यू बिजनेस. हमारा दमिक आएगा डिजाइन, measure, analyze, improve and control. improve की बात कर लेते हैं. improve में आपको सब कुछ पता चल जाएगा क्या क्या करना है. See, I'll tell you. define में problems क्या है ये हाईलाइट कर लो. customers overall dining experience is not good. Staff communication, staff involvement is very pathetic. Mismatch of food order and food delivered. Kitchen staff not up to the mark. Time taken to serve the food and hygiene concerns. So you measure to what extent things are going wrong. New customer leaving restaurant, unhappy customers, complaints about staff behavior, time more, and then you can actually think about improvement phases. Use waiting time of the customer for betterment. So you can have innovative ideas of cleaning the table, innovative ideas of serving the food in no time. Certain sauces, certain beverages or certain food items, certain gravies can be prepared before the restaurant gets open, and then you can launch the product, or then you can take up the order. Now that is the actual system prevailing in the hotel industry. That is why hotels are running for a specific period of time. That is the reason why hotels are running for a specific period of time. From morning 7 to 3 and then 6 to 9 or 6 to 11, 6 to 12, because meanwhile they spend time on preparation. They keep the gravy prepared, brown gravy, white gravy, green gravy. It is prepared, red gravy, tomato, and accordingly whatever you order, they will add that gravy into it. That's why the food can be served in 10 minutes. You order paneer makhan wala, it is served in 10 minutes. Why? Roti takes more time than that, because if the food is half of the food is already ready. Noodles, when you order, noodles are already ready. They simply stir them on that in that utensil, and they serve it. Otherwise, it's a long procedure to take noodles, clean them, wash them, let the water get soak in, and then you use it. It is already done. It is ready. So ingredients are ready. That saves time. Staffs of the hotel are not well groomed and lack of appealing strategies. Improving staff coordination, finance requirements, kitchen staff work productively rather than working laboriously. Organizing kitchen equipments and food ingredients. You can apply 5S methodology, which is a Japanese methodology. I'll tell you what is that. Here we go. 5S technology, 5S methodology is basically used for organizing the workplace. Organizing the workplace. Seri, Seton, Seiso, Shiketsu, and Sitsuke. What does that mean? Seri is your work should be sorted out. There should not be obstacles. Unnecessary items should not be in between. Your unnecessary utensils should not be in between. Your utensils must be placed in a proper area. Your food items are also stored in a proper manner. आज जीरा इधर रखा है, कल उधर रखा है, आज मिर्ची पाउडर इधर रखी है, कल उधर रखी है. No, there has to be a specific place. If my main cook, even if he is not available, someone else can go and get the food ready. ये कहाँ रखा है, वो कहाँ रखा है वाला फंडा ही नहीं. So sort out. Sit on. Sit on means set everything in order. Stock कब आएगा, माल कब आएगा. Okay, ये माल आया, पहले इसको use कर ले. FIFO basis. You can use this. So that is also a work management. If it is available, okay, it can be used. पहले इसको use करो, उसके बाद का माल बाद में use करो. So your old stock will be used first, or other your stock will be used for before it get older. If you apply LIFO, last in first out, your old will get older, older will be old days will be obsolete. फिर फेंकना पड़ेगा. Seiso means cleanliness, hygiene. Seiketsu, practice some good standards, orderliness, and some etiquettes are to be followed in terms of work area. And every process should be standardized. If my cook is not there, even if my person from the counter goes to the kitchen, he should be having the information ready. Okay, standardized procedure. Take this, add this, add this, add this gravy, add this paneer. The work is done. The food is ready. The show must go on. Standardized methods. Sitsuke, sustain. See, you have to provide training and you have to keep your staff in a disciplined manner. And they should have the feeling, they should inculcate the feeling of ownership. मैं अपने ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में काम कर रहा हूं, ये वाला फीलिंग आना चाहिए. मुझे बताएंगे तब मैं करूंगा. नहीं, मुझे लग रहा नहीं ये काम कर लेना चाहिए, कर दो. मुझे लगता है ये काम कर लेना चाहिए, कर दो. So when you do it as if it is your own work, as if your own project, there is a sense of ownership, there is a sense of belonging, which actually adds some value to your own individual capacity as an employee, plus you lead by examples and others also start following this. Even if 20% people start following it, it is good for you, for your organization. So you can implement such techniques. Then you have hygiene concern, even that can be taken. So basically, you're just supposed to mention turnaround story is always about Six Sigma. Turnaround story is always about Six Sigma. And if you want a restructuring done, or if you want workplace management to be done, you have 5S. Workplace organization method, 5S. So that was your case study number 8. Let's go for another case study which is based on the same concept, and that is your case study number 11. which is also based on lean system only. Case study number 11. DIC is one of the several insurance companies which offer insurance policies covering general risk relating to individuals and his or her family members. Since past 3 years, DIC has seen the volume of business increase, but profit have remained static due to declining margins. Cost efficiency is a major factor in the success of companies in this industry, because competition within the industry is very high. Some of the processes within DIC are computerized. However, many of the processes which involve communication with customers are still paper based. Responses on telephone inquiries from customers involve paper based communication. Additionally, the sales staff visits potential customers in their homes tries to sell them the insurance policies of their for their homes and their possessions. These transactions are again paper based. This process is often slow and has led to complaints from both customers and a company's sales staff. DIC has also been receiving regular complaints from the current and the potential customers about errors in the paperwork that they receive. The number of complaints is increasing day by day. The board is worried about growing popularity of the new style of business using the information technology. The board intends to streamline the business model, and they are looking out for business process re-engineering. Business process re-engineering requires radical change in the business organization. आगे बढ़ो. DIC intends to computerize fully all of the work done. However, while some members of the staff are welcoming the BPR's program, others have expressed concern about the business process re-engineering and its implications on them. So, we have insurance company. करना क्या है? How BPR can be implemented? Discuss the improvement that might be expected by introducing BPR. Recommend performance target which DIC should introduce to ensure that the re-engineered processes enable to achieve its key business objectives. And why these DIC's staff might be concerned about BPR and implementation. एक काम करते हैं, implications तो वगैरह सब बाद में डिस्कस कर लेंगे. पहले ये समझ लेते कि BPR है क्या, business process re-engineering है क्या. I'll give you that in short. You will be able to understand what we are supposed to write here. Again, you will get this in your study material, lean systems and innovation topic. JKC material, same topic. What is business process re-engineering? It is basically rethinking and radical redesigning of business processes to achieve dramatic improvements in a critically contemporary measures of performance such as cost, quality, service and speed. Business process re-engineering means rethinking or amending your existing processes basically with an intention of improving your performance in terms of cost, quality, service and speed. What do we do? There are 4 components. One is fundamental rethinking. You think from a scratch what are the challenges in front of you, how we are performing it, how we are facing them. Find out why we do what we do. Why we do what we do. Try to find out that. And once you know why you are doing this, just find out why you do in a particular way. Why do we do what we do? हम लोग ऐसा क्यों करते हैं और इस तरीके से क्यों करते हैं? जब आपको ये पता चल जाएगा तरीका गलत है, तब आपको पता चलेगा देयर इज अ रैडिकल मतलब राइट फ्रॉम द स्क्रैच, टर्न अराउंड पूरा. इट्स अ फ्रेश स्टार्ट, clean slate, फ्रेश स्टार्ट मतलब क्या है, रेडिकल चेंज ही हुआ ना राइट फ्रॉम द बॉटम। फिर इसमें हो सकता है कि आप री इन्वेंट करो अपने गोल को, आज तक किसी और चीज पे फोकस कर रहे थे, कल किसी और चीज पे फोकस करो, मतलब अभी जो पता चलेगी वो। एंड देन यू नीड ड्रामेटिक इंप्रूवमेंट। इसमें काफी सारी चीजें होंगी, लाइक यू मे इंक्रीज क्वालिटी, स्पीड, ओन। अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, इनके अलावा आप और काफी चीजों पे ध्यान दोगे, जैसे परफॉर्मेंस एनहांसमेंट। क्वालिटी स्पीड तो डेफिनेटली बढ़ेगा, बट परफॉर्मेंस एनहांसमेंट इज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द important task to be ascertained. We will always focus on taking the existing processing system to the next level. अभी जिस लेवल पे हो उससे बेटर लेवल पे जा, then only there will be upgradation and then only you will be able to achieve your goal. And then end-to-end business processes. End-to-end business processes. Re-engineering focuses on end-to-end business processes rather than individual activities. BPR take holistic view of the business process as comprising a string of activities that cuts across the traditional department and functional line. इसका मतलब ये होता है कि आप भले ही एक प्रोसेस री इंजीनियर करते होंगे, बट देन प्रोसेस री इंजीनियरिंग का इंटेंशन प्रोसेस का इंप्रूवमेंट नहीं, इट इज अल्टीमेटली द गोल ऑफ द बिजनेस विच इज रिक्वायर्ड टू बी अचीव्ड. So it is end-to-end business processing. By changing my process, if I'm reaching the goal of the organization, I want to do that. Come on, it's a turnaround, right? So it's a radical change. Mahindra and Mahindra, Mahindra and ERP. Then you have EMP, sorry, ICICI. They have already done that 10, 12 years back. What do you do? See, your basic intention. Organize around outcomes, not task. Focus on the result, not what you're doing. Focus on the result, not on the methods. Second one is have those who need the result of a process perform the process. Now, what do you mean by this? Have those who need the results of the process perform the process. मतलब आपको रिजल्ट चाहिए ना इस प्रोसेस का, तो आप ही करो इसको. देखो, टाटा स्काई अपने इंस्टॉल कर लिया, जियो टीवी इंस्टॉल कर लिया, एयरटेल इंस्टॉल कर लिया, वॉट एवर. उसमें जब भी प्रॉब्लम आता है फोन करते हो, सर रिसेप्शन नहीं आ रहा है, फिर वहां से इंस्ट्रक्शन देंगे, आप अपना सेट टॉप बॉक्स ऑन रखिए, यू विल डू दैट. ओके, फलाना फलाना बटन दबाइए, यू विल डू दैट. इस फलाने फलाने मेन्यू में गो टू दिस पर्टिकुलर मेन्यू, यू विल डू दैट. अच्छा, फ्रीक्वेंसी का ये चार्ट दिखिए, डन, क्लिक करिए, यस, हो गया, हाँ सर हो गया हो गया. सो दे, यू वांट द रिजल्ट, नो, सो दे गेट थिंग्स डन थ्रू यू. इससे आपके मेजर प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व होते हैं. जिसको सॉल्यूशन चाहिए वही काम कर रहा है. Integrate the processing of information into a work process that produces the information. जहां से इंफॉर्मेशन जनरेट होती है वहां पे ही प्रोसेस करो, सो प्रोसेसिंग पे एक्स्ट्रा टाइम नहीं जाएगा एंड मिस इंफॉर्मेशन भी नहीं होगी. Treat geographically dispersed resources as though they were centralized. So even you have different centers, they should be coordinated either through networking or through a system. Line parallel activities, like, okay, I can give you example for that. When you go to Maruti, when you buy a car, when you deliver, when the car is delivered, when the entry is made, the entry is made in the centralized warehouse. So on the server, falana falana dealer, falana falana name, falana falana model of the car sold. So inventory में से वो कम होगा on the server only. In Reliance they scan your while billing, peak peak, that is not for generating bill. The entry is immediately recorded in the stores department where the issue of stock is registered. So even if you are decentralized, through technology or through some system, get organized. Line parallel activities instead of integrating their results. Put the decision point where the work is performed. This means basically when you deal with a workforce, in a workforce there can be two different types of people. Those who work in any situation and those who don't in any situation. You give them new work, still they will work. This is one category. You give them even a routine job, they will not work, or they will be skeptical about increasing the speed and all. So distinguish them so that at the time of need, at the 11th hour, whenever you need services, whenever you need implementation of some important task, you should be knowing whom to call for. Capture information once and at the source. So frequent capturing information from different sources may lead to confusion. So what are the stages? Stages of business process reengineering: identification of process identification. All non-value adding items are to be discarded. Kachra nikalo. Redesign, reassemble. All resources are to be assembled. All resources are to be put together. So how BPR can be implemented? See, the same thing they have mentioned. They have explained, as I told you, you should explain the whole story in a summarized manner in the first paragraph. What is the problem? Improvement expected by implementation of BPR. Fast information processing, better facilities to salesperson, motivating staff lending to overall improvement, parallel processing. And what are the key business objectives? Keep your targets in such a manner that they will act as a motivation, not as a burden. Speeding up the process. Slow pace. See, always remember this. Slow pace in a routine exercise is not acceptable. Slow pace in a different or unknown implementation can be accepted. If you are given a new task, you may take time to understand, to implement it, but then not the routine one. So error-free work. Error-free work is also essential, because work done by one person, if it is required to be verified by the other person, then what's the use of one person doing it in the first place? So it has to be error-free. Now, how do we, what is the perception of BPR programs? Generally, people are not susceptible to change. We don't like changes. Although the main aim of BPR is to increase business efficiency, this is often a general perception that organizations just want to do some cost-cutting exercises. Because I told you, non-value added item will be removed. If you know which workforce is ready to work in any situation, which workforce is not ready to work, then you will take a decision. At the time of axing the employee, I will always go for the second category. Resistance may be encountered by the staff as they are concerned about the change and uncertain about their jobs in the future. Even if program does not actually lead to redundancy, the fact that it will result in fundamental redesign of business process is still likely to lead significant changes which affect the staff. For instance, BPR may lead to new patterns of work, changes in people's role. You are currently working as a supervisor, you may be given workload of a foreman. You are currently working as a admin manager, you will be given the role of finance manager additionally, of course, if you are qualified enough to handle that. But that restructuring may not be taken in a right spirit. This uncertainty about how the program could affect them is likely to make staff concerned about it and may lead them to resist it. Resistance may be exacerbated, matlab taken in a negative spirit, because of out of date processors are likely to have been in the place for quite some time and have therefore become ingrained in the staff. See, these processes, they have inculcated those processes within themselves. Now, if you have some new system implemented in your office, you will take time to, probably because of age, you will be able to take it. But still, people don't like processes and systems getting changed, since these people are with the organization doing the same processing since long, over a longer period of time. They will be having those systems inculcated in them. This habit needs a change, which is certainly a problem when it comes to a staff. So that was your case study number 11, which was based on business process reengineering, which is another form of, avoiding wastages or eliminating wastages from the process.